to be doing lesson 10-7 from our EnVision math curriculum. This is going to be referring to pages 451 and 460 from the workbook. The goal today is I can solve problems and explain patterns that I see. We're going to be looking at several problems that have something in common. Let's check out the first couple. So if I look at these two problems, I've got 26 plus 38, and then I've got 126 plus 238. If you look really closely, you can see that there's something in common. I'm just looking for a color change. I've got the 26 over here. Over on this side, it's 100, and then there's the 26 again. If I look on this one, I've got the 38, and then I've got 200, and then there's the 38 again. I want you to notice how that plays into the next part of what we're going to be working on. We're going to show a pattern by using an open number line. On my open number line, you're going to notice where we're adding the 38 on both of these open number lines. You'll notice a little bit of a difference as well, and I want you to pay close attention for that. So we're starting with the 26. We're going to add the 30 first. So 26 plus 30 is 56. And then we're going to add the 8. We want to break apart that 8 into 4 and 4 so that it's easy for us to add. So 56 plus 4 gets us to 60. Then we're going to add 4 again. 60 plus 4 is 64. So the sum of 26 plus 38 is 64. Now over on this second equation, I'm starting with 126. And I'm going to add 238. Step 1, we're going to be adding that 200. So 126 plus 200 is 326. Now I'm going to add my 30. So 326 plus 30, 356. I also need to add the 8. I'm going to break apart the 8 into a 4 and a 4. So 356 plus 4 is 360. I'm going to add 4 more so that I've added a total of 8. That gets me to 364. So 26 plus 38 is 64. 126 plus 238 is 364. Notice how those are a little bit different but very similar at the same time. If we look back at what we've added on our open number line, you can see what's in common. Look for what's repeating. We've got the 30 on both sides. We've got the 2 4s on both sides as well. The only difference is adding the 200. We also have the difference of starting with the 126 instead of the 26. So we've got a couple of differences, but we can notice that there is a pattern. Let's look at the next one. I'm going to show you another equation. This time I'm going to use partial sums in order to find the repeated addition problem, the repeated reasoning that I'm going to be using. So we've got 28 plus 36 equals something. Then we'll do 128 plus 236 equals something. Now, if I was going to be using partial sums on this, I'm going to line them up horizontally. So vertical way instead of the horizontal way. 28 plus 36. First, I'm going to add my tens together. 2 tens plus 3 tens is 5 tens. That has a value of 50. And then 8 ones plus 6 ones has a value of 14. These are the partial sums that I've come up with. So if I add 50 plus 14, I get 64. Over on this side, again, I'm going to line these up vertical way. 128 plus 236. I'm going to start with adding these hundreds. 100 plus 200 is 300. 2 tens plus 3 tens is 5 tens, which has a value of 50. 8 ones plus 6 ones is 14. If I add all all of these numbers together, I get 364 for the sum. I want to look and see which things they had in common. If I look at the things they had in common, I've got the 50 on both sides, and I've got the 14 and the 1s on both sides as well. That's how we're using repeated reasoning in order to find a pattern on our equation. That's essentially what you're going to be working on today with lesson 10.7. This is how you would explain and show your work on those problems. So when you're looking at it, think about the things that you know. On this side, you already knew that 28 plus 36 was 64. So if you wanted to tackle the next problem, the only difference over here would be those hundreds. So if you just put a 3 for the hundreds because you added the 100 and the 200, it could help you out because you already knew that first part. So the problems that you're going to be working on today, and these are on page 357. I just only want you to work on page 357 so you can prove that you've actually watched this video by drawing a star next to where the little boy with the orange hair is looking down at the problem. So just draw a star anywhere near that boy, and I'll know that you watched this video. When you get to the page number 460, you've got some problems. I was going to show you an example of how to do that, just to kind of give you a refresher. These are some house point totals that we were working on in class. Kind of what you can do with this is we're going to create a couple of problems that we want to solve. If I asked you, how many points did EZOM and Amor earn in the week, what would you say? And how would you find out the answer for that? You would have to create an equation. So in order to create the equation, you've got to look at the chart, so find where EZOM is, and put the 238. And if you want to find out how many EZOM and Amor have, you've got to add them together. That's a clue word for addition. Amor had 189, so I'm going to add 189. So if I was asked, please find an equation, this would be what the equation is to find EZOM and Amor. I'm not going to spend the time solving the problems because that's something that you should know how to do. Another example, if I was asked to find what was the total number of house points that I had from this chart, if you're trying to find the total number, you need to add all of these together. So it would be 238 plus 189 plus 326 plus the 247. That would be what your equation would have to be to find the sum of all of those answers. Now, you likely won't have an equation with that many numbers at this point, but it really is cool for you to have the ability to do that. Excuse me. That's kind of what I've got for you. There's not too much. I know that you can do great at this. There are some spots where you're going to be able to use whichever strategy that you choose. I do want you to skip the inside pages of 458 and 459. So please do not do those pages. Only worry about page 457 and 460. Okay? Have a good one.